So how important is it to carry on families' ethnic traditions in this day and age? With the passing of my paternal grandmother last year, I found that the answer for me is it's very important. So my mother's side of the family is Sicilian, a strong group of personalities to be sure. And even though her parents passed away a decade ago, the deep imprint that they made on me in my childhood has remained strong through the years. Certain expressions, love of traditional music, and certain aspects of the culture are still a big part of my life. The values that were stressed were always very important, including a sense of family, of community, and loyalty are ingrained in me at this point. And every year at the first week of August, we had a huge family reunion. People would come from all over, to be there. And this is pretty typical with Italian families. I have more cousins than I can count. From very early on, the sense of cohesiveness with that side of the family was always there. My father's side of the family is kind of a different story. With the passing of my grandmother last year, I suddenly felt that the roots of his Slovak heritage were in danger of being lost, really, at least lost to our family. So here's a map. This map is of Slovakia. I guess you want to see it. Try to get it as close as I can here to the camera. So you can't see it very well, but that is Slovakia. The area that I marked as you're looking at it, sort of bottom right-hand corner, is Kosice. If I'm saying that correctly, I'm probably not saying that correctly. But that is near the area where my family's from. It's like the second largest, the city, kind of the cultural heart of the country, as far as I know. The Slovak people tend to be more of a reserved kind of people than the boisterous Italians that made such a huge imprint on my childhood. So they're not really prone to large displays of emotion. They tend to favor their privacy. And frankly, they're kind of a people of few words. And that's definitely, it's typical for the people in general, and it's definitely true for my family. This demeanor, it's definitely true for me as well. I've always been more similar to my dad and his side of the family in that way. I'm usually on a pretty even keel, and my mom and her side of the family are not. So, what about the things that aren't so innate, like holiday traditions, are not so easy to keep going. One of the clearest in my mind is the Easter celebration that we had. We ate a dish. I don't think that there's ever been a name put to this dish. It consists of cubes of ham, meatloaf, kibasi, and sidok, which is a fresh cheese, kind of like farmer's cheese, if you know what that is. And it's eaten out of large communal bowls. It's served with beet horseradish. I always thought it was a really unique tradition, a unique way of doing things that I didn't really see any of my other, friends' families taking part in anything, like that. So what I've decided to do basically is, I can continue that tradition fairly easily. My pap is in his 90s now, so I don't know that he's going to be up to doing this sort of cooking. So I'm going to learn how to make the sidok and the other parts of the dish, and hopefully for Easter going to serve this for my family. It's going to be quite an undertaking, as I am totally domestically challenged, so we will see how that goes. But carrying on these things is important to me. I think it's important for the future. Modern society doesn't seem to lend itself to deep roots or a strong connection with the past, but it's part of us. It's part of who we are. It's part of our story, So what that means for me is that I have to take action to preserve this tradition. My grandmother was kind of the glue that held everything together. So without her, it's going to take some effort, but it's an effort that I think is definitely going to be worth it in the long run. So this has been a little bit about where I come from, why it's important to me to connect with my heritage, and what I'm going to do to make it happen for me and hopefully for future generations and my family. So, thanks.